Usually when I do these commentaries, I try to provide a little bit of context. For some of the new people, I will really be jumping in full bore. I will just give a few details because, and again, this is not meant to be an endorsement, but one of the things that Aaron keeps returning to is this particular incident that, to put it mildly, I think spun out of control. So essentially what happened is Nora jumped into a stream, and she was invited with Aaron. This was months and months ago. It's almost now a year when this happened, but I think it was like 10 months ago. And the subject was Stephanie Hutchinson. And I admit I'm very mixed on her, but basically, Stephanie was a very big fan, admirer of Mike Rinder. And to put it mildly, Aaron and Mike Rinder had a lot of disagreements, and they became very public. So their friendship and relationship broke down. So Stephanie made it her mission to really detail all the lies and hypocrisies of Aaron. And if you know Aaron, that's a lot. That's a lot. So on her blog post, she really just kept going after Aaron very, very viciously, but I think fairly, because she never, I think, knowingly made up anything. She made a few big mistakes, like Nora, but, it is what it is. But one particular post apparently really, really set off Aaron, and also what Stephanie did. So in this video, we're going to try to take Aaron's point of view. Now, I want to make clear, I'm not really endorsing a pro-Aaron position. I'm just trying to answer the question, like, why is it, or how is it that this friendship that by both sides lasted for 30 years suddenly degenerated so quickly? And again, I don't even believe Aaron's perspective here, but this is his explanation as to a major reason why he is so angry and bitter of what happened with Nora. Okay, so they do the stream, and what incited is that Stephanie was checking Aaron's gym, right? Aaron does some martial arts. Now, as he admits, he hasn't really done martial arts in a long time, but apparently his goal was to do, flea master. Whether it ever happens, I don't know. So anyway, he signed up for a local gym, which apparently has a little bit of fame. It's actually very well known. And Stephanie basically called up and saying, well, I think Aaron actually violated the ethics conditions, right? Because martial arts is regulated in the U.S. I know some people will challenge me on this, but no, martial arts is a regulated field. And she was just inquiring, well, are you aware that maybe Aaron violated the code? And of course, the poor manager caught in the middle said, oh, I didn't know that. I really don't know Aaron too much. Could you give me more information? And Aaron got incredibly angry. He thought that Stephanie was a stalker compared to a baby reindeer. Apparently this is like a Netflix show. Listen, I try to keep up, guys, but things are going to fall behind. So I'm like, he kept calling her a reindeer, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Nora, for her part, also really, really hates Stephanie. Because again, remember, at that time, Nora and Aaron were very close together. They were both very loyal. So even though Stephanie focused mainly on Aaron, Nora came in for a lot, and I do mean a lot of criticism. And again, like Aaron, Stephanie got a lot wrong, but she did get a few things correct, and they made Nora look like an idiot and a hypocrite and a monster. And Nora did not appreciate that either. So they both do the stream. It initially does begin with Aaron. This is a long stream. My memory of it is it's over 3 hours. I think you can still Google it unless he made it private. So this is a long stream. And Nora jumps in, basically just agrees with Aaron that yes, she is very disturbed. Aaron, yes, it is very disturbing. I don't like her either, and so on and so forth. So why is this so important? Well, I think for two reasons. Now, one of the reasons, I frankly don't believe Aaron. I think it's very calculated. I just don't believe him because I know a few more facts about the situation. I just don't think that aligns with what he's saying. Aaron is saying two things. One, he felt really offended because Stephanie brought up his dead brother. Aaron has a twin brother who died tragically years and years ago. This was decades ago. Now, I can believe that Aaron does feel, right, some tragic emotion linked to his brother's death. However, that may happen off camera, and let's be fair, because if you do lose people, and I've lost several family members, like the memory of loss will sometimes trigger things in you, and it will happen whether you plan it or not. Something will just remind you of like, oh yeah, she's dead or he's dead, and again, you will get very emotional. So he considered that crossing a line that Stephanie would even bring up his brother. However, I just find it when it's on camera, when he does this, what I think is fake crying regarding his brother, I don't believe him. I'm sure in real life he probably does feel some regret with what happened, but I don't know, when he does it on camera, I think that's phony to me, but that's me. So I don't really believe that's a major motivation. However, there is a second aspect, and I think this is what really made him angry, namely that to him, the stream was about Stephanie, right? It was about Stephanie exploiting his dead brother. It's about Stephanie being evil and him being the victim and her calling the gem and Aaron feeling like his personal space was being violated, which I find pretty silly because it's a gem, right? It isn't like a super exclusive club he joined. It's just a gym, but apparently thought he was special or whatever. Anyway, so he felt really offended, and Nora should also feel this outrage, which I think she did, because she genuinely hates Stephanie. And I know this for a fact because in one of the videos, out of nowhere, Nora just felt she had this face like she was about to vomit, even mentioning Stephanie. So I think her hatred of Stephanie is very real. She does not like Stephanie. However, what happened is they do the stream, and then Nora puts that stream on her channel. Again, this was months and months ago, and Aaron let it happen, right? He invited Nora on, and apparently he allowed the stream to be on her channel, but secretly, he was really angry. He was really, really angry. So when the relationship broke down, he made it public and known, saying, listen, I'm not trying to destroy your channel because you have a lot of my content. Now, again, I don't agree with Aaron's perspective. I'm just laying it out. So you have tons of my videos on your channel. If I want to destroy your channel, I could copyright strike all of them and your channel's gone because you get 3 strikes. If you get 3 strikes, you're done. Doesn't matter how the strikes happen. Doesn't matter if the strikes are real. Doesn't matter if the strikes are legit. It does not matter, right? This is a very automated system. So if the computer determines these copyright strikes are fine, even if they're not, like legally, no, they're not real, does not matter. 3 strikes, you're done. So he struck that particular stream because he felt, one, this wasn't about you. This was about Stephanie and my dead brother. So to him, it felt like you're trying to make money from the memory of my dead brother. Now, I got to be honest, again, I just don't think first she was making that much money at all. So I think that's kind of silly. However, I think the idea of making any money from his dead brother really, really annoyed him. So that's one thing. So he felt a betrayal of Nora's trust, right? Namely, you came on the stream to do a commentary for free to help me, right? Because I was very emotionally broken up. Now, again, I don't believe Aaron at that point. I think this was very manufactured. I'm sure he felt some anger and resentment, but not to the degree he was performing. But that's just me. Okay, so he feels that this is a very vulnerable place I was in, and you took advantage of this to make money. Granted, not a lot of money, but you took this opportunity to make more money from me, so that really got him angry. And then secondly, when the relationship was over, right, when the friendship was done, and Nora publicly said, I no longer consider you a friend, she still kept the stream, right? So now it's like, we're not even friends, and you just want my content, quote, for free, and to make a profit from it. And it's like, that's not legit. That's not legit. It's like, it's one thing, I let you do it as a friend, even though I didn't like it, right? Now, Nora, for her part, defends herself saying, Aaron never told her this was a problem, right? He never mentioned that her streaming, quote, his content, again, this is Aaron's perspective, I don't necessarily agree. Namely, if you really had a problem, why don't you just tell me? Well, we're going in a circle. Namely, Nora should have known, right, that this is really about the memory of Aaron's dead brother. So in a certain way, she was violating the memory, right? Stephanie was bad enough, but I guess this is Aaron's perspective that he's judging her from a higher standard. Like if Stephanie says things about his dead brother, he's going to get really angry, but he's not really shocked, right? There's nothing shocking because like, yeah, you like Rinder a lot. You don't like me. I get it. I understand your story. I may not like it, but I understand you. But if a friend, like a close friend of 30 years, does something similar, which in his eyes, Nora did, really take advantage of him, he's going to be really, really resentful about that. You break off the relationship, but you still keep, quote, his property and try to make money from his property. Yeah, he's going to feel very, very bitter. Now, why do I keep going on and on about this one stream? Because he himself keeps going back to this, saying that this is like a key moment and illustrates for him why Nora is Zero Dark Nora. Namely that she is only here for the money. She does not care really about him or Scientology or anti-Scientology, that Nora is incredibly selfish and ironically very narcissistic. And this is an example of her, quote, narcissistic abuse. Instead of just doing the stream as a friend to help him, she used the stream as an opportunity to make more money and to promote herself. So she really wasn't there for him. She was just there to promote herself and make more money, which I agree that probably was the case. But again, this is where Aaron's stories just don't really hold up too much. If you felt this was exploitive, you let her on the channel, right? She can't be on the channel unless you give permission. Now, I've never really done the streaming thing. I don't think I've done one single live stream, so I just don't know the politics or the policies too much. So if I did it, I'd be just complete amateur. But the way I understand it, you have to be invited to be on a stream. So if you felt some doubts about what Nora was up to or her motivations for this particular subject, why'd you invite her? Why'd you let her on? If you felt she was being offensive or exploitive, why don't you kick her out? I mean, he has done it. Aaron has gotten very confrontational with people while streaming. If he does not like you or doesn't like where you're going or disagrees with you, he will do it. He will state it. I've seen this with Rachel, with Mitch Brisker, with others. He will get very angry. His mood will shift and he will get confrontational. He will say, yeah, this isn't going well, so you better wrap up because I don't like what the hell you're saying to me. So it does happen. He will lose control. So it's like, if you really felt that Nora was violating your trust, why'd you let her continue on the stream? You could have just messaged her saying, okay, listen, I just don't like the way you're going with this. I'm going to shortly get you off the stream, okay? It is what it is. But he didn't do that. He kept the stream going. So it just seems that, yeah, I can see Aaron's perspective from, again, his perspective that Nora is the one that's guilty of violating the trust that they built up. But again, I think a lot of this is performative. But again, I'm just trying to answer the question because he does feel genuine hatred. So what's this built upon? Again, I think it's built on a mythology, but I think he really believes it. He really does believe that Nora was exploiting him, apparently, not just months ago, but for years and years. And he was the nice guy. He was the nice person. He was being a generous host, but she was invading the space and taking advantage of him. And that's why the relationship broke down, from his perspective. Make of that what you will. Apparently that stream about the baby reindeer woman explains why things broke down so rapidly. Or so Aaron says. This is the claim Aaron makes, which I think is half true, but also half false.